In this video, we are going to learn about the first part of speech that we discussed in the previous video. In the successive videos, obviously, we will discuss about all the parts of speech, but particularly in this one, we are going to talk about noun. Now, noun, as you might have learned in your schools or in your academic times, noun is simply a name of person, place, animal, or thing. Now think about it. The reference to parts of speech were first made by the Sanskrit grammarians. Panini, he came along and he formalized the Sanskrit language through his work of Ashtadhyayi. But prior to Panini, of course, there were people who spoke in chaste Sanskrit, chaste meaning highly formalized Sanskrit. So the concept of giving a name to something, it's as old as time. Now think of it as this way. When you go about living your day-to-day life, you need to know what to call a person, you need to know what to call that place, you need to know what do you call that thing. That is the beginning of the speech. In fact, the book of Nirukta, Yaska was an author and he wrote a book that is Nirukta. Nirukta is an appendage to the Vedas. It is largely based on the language, that is etymology, origin of words. In that, you find the first reference to the word nama, from which we derive the English word of noun, obviously, nama. This was written in 5th century BC. So for those of you who have difficulty comprehending these time scales, so right now currently we are in 2025. So if you rewind the clocks back 2025 years and still go 5 years back after zero, that is the point you reach 5th century BC. That is when Nirukta wrote in his book of Yaska that there is a category of words that goes by the classification of nama, and now we know it as noun. So it's basically you have to give name. So when you are born and when you are given a name, that is basically your nounification. Because as human beings, it's our innate nature to give names to things, so we'll know what to call it. And hence comes up this category of noun. So when you give a name to any person, place, animal, thing, it becomes a noun. And it is surprising for me when I started reading the Vishnu Sahasra that Vishnu is basically a noun that is given to God. That's how it works. Okay. So there are a variety of nouns. The first one is, I'm sure a lot of you have already learned this. First one is common noun. Meaning you don't exactly know, there is no specific details about, for example, if I say that Ram went to a city. Which city? We don't know. But if I say Ram went to Sri Lanka, so I am saying the name of that particular place. So Sri Lanka becomes a proper noun. Whereas if it was just a city, it is still a common noun. During the time of partition, the Muslims demanded a separate country. A separate country is still a common noun. But if you mention that the Muslims demanded Pakistan, so it becomes a proper noun. So that way, these two categories are proper nouns. Okay, so when you have the exact name of a person, exact name of a place, of an animal, of a thing, it is a proper noun. But if you have a general name for it, then it is a common noun. So school, parks, a country, a state that does not have a specific name to it, it is still in the common noun category. But if you give it a particular name, a specific name, it transforms into a proper noun. There are a few rules that must be kept in mind while writing proper nouns, and one of those rules is that the first letter of every proper noun is always a capital. You cannot write a proper noun with the first letter in lowercase. The third one is rather a tricky one. It's not exactly tricky, but the concept of it can be slippery to understand. Abstract noun. Abstract noun is something that has no physicality, something that cannot be touched. For example, your patriotism, your sincerity, okay, your love and affection towards the other person. So all these qualities or traits of character that a person or a thing or animal or a place has, that is an abstract noun. You can link it to the word of abstract art. These days there is this tendency in people where everything is an art. So yeah, so abstract noun are the things. So obviously when people were building these theories of nouns, they came across certain words that did not have a physical existence, such as discipline, sincerity. If I say that Rama was a sincere devotee of Shiva, so the sincere that I used, the word that I used, I cannot touch that. It has no physicality, hence it is an abstract noun. Honesty, dishonesty, the qualities that are inherent inside a person, or those are their character traits, those things are classified as abstract nouns. And the last important one, there are other nouns as well, but this is these four are generally used frequently. And the last one is collective nouns. Collective nouns are categories. Now that the population and everything started increasing, there were settled down communities. Here we were talking about this time scale, 5th century BC, and even some years or some centuries prior to it. Now they needed a specific name for a group of people, for a group of animals, for a group of things. How do we name them? Because once the classification had started, they started naming people, they started naming places, they started naming animals. All right. They started naming things. So when those things existed in a group, they still had to be given a name while using it in a sentence. This is how languages develop. So here in collective nouns, it is basically a name that is given to a group, such as a pride of lions, a school of fish, a litter. So a pride of lions, that is a group of lions, what it is called. Then a school of fish. Then this one is an interesting one, a murder of crows. The group of crows, when they are together. Keep in mind, collective means a group, not just one crow. So pride, school, murder. Another one is a litter of puppies. All right. You can get this list on the internet about various different collective nouns. You can get it off the internet. You don't need to memorize all of them. You can just simply memorize the ones that are frequently used. Okay, so noun, just to recap before I end this video, noun is a name that you give to a person, place, animal or thing. It is in human nature to give names to things. So you know how to address that thing, how to address that person, how to address that place, and it comes from the Sanskrit version of nama, that is parts of speech. Okay, even Panini has mentioned parts of speech in his book Ashtadhyayi. So it's not something that is very special to English. It started off with Sanskrit and then spread outwards. So that is it. These are four categories: common, proper, abstract and collective nouns.